I saw a very interesting article. It really touched me because it speaks to what I've been thinking and feeling for a long time, and it really boils down to really this whole narrative of higher education and students and kids going to college. I think that America has put more of a value on the degree and less value on education, and that is something that is kind of showing itself in the current environment. It's not really about degrees. It's about education, because education is really what creates innovation. It's what leads to invention. It's what leads ultimately to production. So this article kind of touched me, and I wanted to share with you guys because I thought it was really cool. And I'm going to give you some very interesting statistics that you guys can think about. So the article talks about the growth of education and the fact that as Americans we are a lot more educated, or we have more degrees. Okay, so they're equating education to degrees. In 1910, 14% of Americans had a high school degree. 14%, and 3% had a college degree. Fast forward to 2000, 84% of Americans have a high school degree, and 26% have a college degree, bachelor's. Now, what we're missing here, though, is that the innovation and the invention during the 1910 to 2000 was drastically up. I mean, we became the world power through our innovation, our expertise, and the pace of that is actually slowing down. So Americans today, though have higher degrees, are actually less productive. And it opened my eyes, really, because it kind of gave some facts to what I believed all along. Degrees don't mean education. If you look at the top 100 or the Fortune 500, the CEOs, 80% don't have a college degree. You can't say they're not educated and they don't understand certain things. They are educated. They just don't have degrees. So you having a degree doesn't necessarily mean that you not having a degree doesn't necessarily mean you're not educated. And you having a degree doesn't necessarily mean you are educated, particularly more than somebody that doesn't have a degree. So why are we forcing degrees down people's throats and not education? And why does education have to cost so much? And why are we putting our kids more and more and more and more in debt to get a degree when education is cheap? It really goes against the American fabric. Is we're innovators. That's who we've been for forever. And I haven't figured out for the life of me why education isn't being innovated more so. Why do jobs want the paper instead of the talent? And we've become less efficient and ultimately less productive with higher degrees. With the degrees, is there a sense of entitlement maybe that Americans feel like, well, we got a degree, that this is what the situation is? Do we feel like we have to go out and work for somebody? Did the not having a degree make us feel that we had to work for ourselves, which forced us to be more innovative? All these questions kind of, come into my mind to say, why are we more educated and less productive? And we're going to see how this translates into the new world order. Most of my education, I have an MBA. Most of my education, however, has come outside of school. And I realized that, school gave me a good foundation, but it was an expensive foundation. And the majority of my education came outside of school. And don't get me wrong, if you're a doctor, and I'm not telling kids not to go to school. I'm telling you to open up your scope and look at really what you're there for. And if you're there to get a degree and not to be educated, then I think you're missing the boat on that. And what we're looking to do is bring Americans back to innovation. You have to look at the economy where the only way that you get ahead is if you produce a good service or product. There's no other way to get ahead unless you're producing a good service or product. If you aren't, then you're living off of somebody who has created a good service or product. And then you're spending your money with other people who are creating a good service or product. And if you're not producing anything for yourself, then you're missing the eight ball. And unfortunately, you'll be a worker for the rest of your life. And it's not, your living standards will not get any better over the course of time unless you put in those fundamentals in your life. So if you're looking at your situation and you're not producing a good or service or product, there's no way that you're going to be able to change your means without asking somebody to give you a piece of their operation or salary. And there's really no stability in that. You may think there is, it may feel like it, but in the long term it's not. Because when the ship goes down, the captain is going to be the last person to get off the ship. It's usually going to be the people that are bringing the ship down. And a lot of times those are the highest salaries. So just think about that. And again, very interesting article in the Wall Street Journal about that. And I really took a lot from it because I feel like Americans in particular, and just people in general, find a way to get more productive, find a way to produce a service, good or product, and distribute it, and you'll be on your way to success. G. Kelly Dixon, Anglestone Real Estate Venture Partners.